Let me also mention, too, about some of the different writers that write about that period. Kind of show this list right here, but those are some examples of some of the different Roman historians that kind of write around this time. So you got, Tacitus is one of them, Suetonius, Dio Cassius. I think those are kind of considered some of the most famous ones that are kind of well known in Roman history. I think I've got better images of them right here. So we got Tacitus on the left, Suetonius in the middle, and then Dio Cassius. The one on the left, Tacitus, is really considered to be one of the greatest of the Roman historians. Annals of Rome, histories of Rome were kind of written around that time. Both those books kind of gives a lot of historical work on like the biographical background of a lot of the emperors in the first century, especially the Julio-Claudian dynasty, etc. I think Tacitus even writes up to the time of the Flavian dynasty as well. And then also the Life of Agricola was another work that Tacitus also wrote, which is about his father-in-law, who was a Roman general that conquered part of Britain, was actually a governor of Britain at one point. So he gives kind of some history of like the conquest of Britain. Then Germania was another work that Tacitus wrote, which is one of the first historical works written on ancient Germany at the time, which the Romans called it Germania. Then the historian in the middle is Suetonius. Suetonius wrote a series of biographies. They were called the 12 Caesars, and they cover from like the life of Julius Caesar, who was not really considered an emperor, by the way, but a dictator of Rome. And he does cover the first 11 emperors. He goes to like the Julio-Claudian dynasty up through the so-called year of the four emperors, 69 CE. And then he covers up through the Flavian dynasty, which collapsed in 96 CE. So he kind of covers a lot of the first century. And then also Dio Cassius, who was sometimes called Cassius Dio, it's usually written either way. He's got an extensive work that's called The History of Rome. It's like an 80-volume work that was, I think, written a little later, but I think written around the 3rd century CE. But he has a history that covers like from the founding of Rome in the 8th century up to the Severan dynasty, 3rd century CE. It's like almost like 1,000 years. And I think most of it's still in extent today if you read about Dio Cassius. So all three of those are kind of important historians that give us a lot of history about the Roman emperors, especially in the 1st century, which we're talking about today.